Annie, can I sit up here with you guys?
God, it's okay. God, you hug.
I saw him this morning.
Go ahead, give him a hug.
Okay.
Go sit down.
Why?
Don't wear a suit. Go sit down.
Can I sit?
Sit down. Did your sheet?
A lot of people here, Gypsy. Hello.
All rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois is now in session. The Honorable Erwin W. Silver, judge presiding. God save the United States and this honorable court. Please be seated and come to order. Case number 89, CN 2280. The United States of America versus Michael J. Laszlo.
I will tolerate no outbursts, disturbances, or interruptions. You may make your opening statements.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court.
Mr. Burke.
Counsel,
Mr. Burke.
the issue in this case is simple. The evidence will show that Michael J. Laszlo lied on his application for American citizenship and was granted that citizenship under false pretenses. His citizenship, consequently, must be taken away. He lied in order to hide the fact that in the latter months of 1944 and the early months of 1945, he served as a member of an SS-organized Hungarian death squad known as Arrow Cross, also called the Special Section, a unit of the Hungarian gendarmes. Mr. Laszlo committed crimes so heinous that the mind boggles trying to comprehend them. We are not speaking here of the banality of evil, of an anonymous bureaucrat sitting in an office giving orders, or a gendarme executing orders. We are speaking of a man who committed these heinous crimes with his own hands. We are speaking of evil incarnate. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if it please the court.
Mrs. Talbot.
Counsel.
Mrs. Talbot.
Your Honor, the issue here is not whether my father lied on his application for American citizenship. That is a smokescreen. Yes, my father did lie. But he did so because he did not want to be repatriated by a communist government that either executed or sent to work camps all those who opposed it. My father was a gendarme, but he was not a member of the Special Section. My father worked as a clerk in an office. He requested that assignment because he could not tolerate the brutalities that he witnessed his fellow gendarmes commit. My father is simply an innocent man who is unjustly accused. He is a man who is being punished by proxy by a communist government for an action he committed against representatives of that government 5 years ago. Your Honor, with your permission,
You may.
would you please? At an appearance here of the Hungarian National Folk Dancers, a group belonging to the communist government, my father forced the performance to halt. The tour was canceled. My father was arrested. Charges were later dismissed. The Hungarian government lodged an official protest over the dismissal of those charges. The State Department rejected that protest. His action was a demonstration against the repressive policies of the communist government, policies which resulted in the deaths of 15,000 people during the Hungarian Revolution of 1956. My father is a good man. He's the kind of man who is willing to put himself at risk against injustice. I know that, Your Honor. And before this trial is over, I will prove it to you. Thank you.
You may call your first witness, Mr. Burke.